In the good old days, hello y'all, I'm Diana Brianne. I don't give advice, suggestions, information, recommendations. I do share with you my perspective on different topics. I hope you like, share, subscribe. All 5 channel names pinned at the top of the comments section or description box below. You know, in the good old days, I remember we had this old car, and I think we paid $75 for it. I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and we didn't go to a car wash. We would go out to the local creek, the creek as we called it, but it was called a creek. And we would get a bucket of water out of the creek, out of the running water, and we would go back up the hill and we would wash that old car and shine it up like it was new. Now, of course, nothing could make it look new, but it was the best we had, and so we took care of it. Nowadays, it seems like people go to the $25 car wash and they really don't think too much about their car. But back then, we valued every little thing that we had. Back in the good old days, we used to sit down at the dinner table together and we would have dinner together. And it might have just been something very simple like a bowl of soup, but we always had plenty to eat and great conversation. Nowadays, it seems like, well, most people don't sit down to dinner together and they're busy texting or, playing video games or something else, or, everybody's on the move. And we always had a specific time to be home to sit down at the dinner table. And in the good old days, on Sunday afternoon, we sat out on Grandma's porch, and we had wonderful conversations, and the kids played in the yard, and the adults talked. And the adults would talk on Grandma's porch, and the kids would play in the yard. What wonderful times. Nowadays, most people just get together, families get together through social media or texting or email. Sometimes they'll pick up the phone, but mostly are gone are the days of Grandma's porch. And, we had something called Layaway. And Layaway was where you had, you couldn't actually take the merchandise home with you, but they would put it away so no one else could buy it. And they would, you'd pay a little bit every week until you could get it out. And usually you had like 90 days to get it out, or they would put it back out on the floor. So you were made sure to pay it off. But when you got home with it, you didn't know anything. Nowadays, people use credit cards and get themselves really in debt. They bring it home right away, but now they have all this debt, and they're buried under debt in a lot of situations. And, we used to not really ever go to a restaurant, but when we did, it was a big deal. Now, a lot of times, people feel a bit depraved or deprived if they don't get to go to a restaurant a couple times a week. But we didn't really have fast food. The only fast food we had was, cooking on the stove, which usually took 30 minutes to an hour or longer. And that was considered fast food. And times have really changed. But you know what? I haven't really changed that much. I still do many of those things. I still wash my own car, and I actually use a hose. And I actually wash my own car, and I use a hose. And I don't go to the car wash. The first time I ever really went to like one of the pricier car washes, I'm not talking about the ones where you put the quarters in, but the pricier car wash was just a couple years ago when my husband bought me like this year-long certificate to go to the car wash. And so times have really changed, but that's okay. I still do things the same. From my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.